If you like to solve mathematical equations under the pressure of a time limit, then this game is for you. This is Basic Math for the Atari 2600. I can only imagine if you're an engineering or computer science or math major in college that you could easily make a great drinking game out of this game. And check it out, 3 plus 1 does equal 4. I got that right. This is a pretty old school game. You use your controller to select the numbers and try to add it up. And if you're right, the Atari game lets you know. And if you're wrong, the Atari game also lets you know. And it gives you the total of how many you got right after 10 mathematical equations. There were many different Atari games that came out that were made to help kids learn. And I actually am a firm believer that video games should be used in school to help teach kids, because kids don't have any attention span, and playing video games also gives them something interactive to do. Now, on the Atari we have games like, well, Basic Math, as you see now, and one of my favorites actually, Math Grand Prix. I think Math Grand Prix is a more successful example of how to combine education with fun, because when you got problems right, your little race car would move around the track. In Basic Math, there's really not a whole lot of incentive to get your problems right, except that you see a score at the end of it telling you how smart you were. Since I grew up with calculators, I can barely do any math in my head, so I suck at this game. Has different levels of difficulty. It has the easiest of addition and subtraction, then you can get into multiplication, and my least favorite, division. I was never good at division. And then you can get into more complicated addition, subtraction, and multiplication, and then more complicated division. And I think it gets into differential equations and calculus and invisible numbers from there. Or maybe that's a different game. So you see here on Classic Game Room HD, we're not just about ninjas and spaceships and blowing things up and crashing cars, but we're also about math and learning. Maybe we'll break out Word Zapper for the Atari one of these days. But in all seriousness, the educational video game genre has not gone away. You may not see it much on systems like the Xbox 360 or PS3, but you certainly see it in game systems like the Leapfrog, which I have a nephew that has the Leapfrog, and sort of played around with that. Obviously, they're not getting the seriously big buck video games on those educational systems, but I do support video games as a way of learning, not just as a way to learn how to increase your hand-eye coordination to blow things up, although I also support that too. But you know, after you hone your math skills, it'll help you add up how many bad guys you've just blown away in Resistance: Fall of Man. See, math isn't totally useless.